Hi, a very good morning to all of you. Today we are going to see a table which gives information about students studying in 6 departments in an Australian university in the year 2011. So we have got some information, and this is somewhat uh, scattered information. We have information about the percentage of females who have got enrollment in 6 subjects here. We have got information about the percentage of students who are not non-native English speakers, who took all these 6 subjects as their major. This is the second group, and the third group is that the overseas students who studied in this particular university who took enrollments in these particular subjects. So you have you can now relate this thing to this thing and this thing to this thing, directly. So because you know that this matter is different. So I don't have the percentage of males here. So I cannot write 28 percentage were males, because as far as we cannot assume, if the data is not given in the table, many of the students, they think that if it is 72 percentage, the rest of the 28 percentage will be males. Not necessarily. So I don't have a particular data there. So as far as there is no data regarding the gender, you please not assume that the rest or 85 percentage of engineering students were males. Don't do that. So I do have a clear information about the rate of female students who enrolled in this particular Australian university. So you please compare this thing. That's your work. You have the data of the proportion of non-English speakers who took the particular subject. So you compare that thing with the overseas students who took this particular subjects, no problem. So you can have a comparison like this, no problem. But I cannot compare this to female proportion, as well as we don't have any further information about the gender. So I do have to say this thing separate and these two separate, because we do have some difficulty in comparing this thing. We can now calculate this as 100 percentage together. So you cannot calculate this thing plus this thing plus this thing equal to 100. I cannot do that. So as far as if we need to compare directly, it should be so 17 plus 49 plus 56 should be 100. Then I could compare. Right now I cannot compare directly. I have to compare it, but in a different way. Let's see how it works out. Information on the students who took 6 different majors at an Australian university in 2011 is depicted in the given table. So this is what we have seen here. No problem. Overall, it is clear that there was no direct correlation on the subject students preferred based on the 3 classification. So this is one, no direct correlation on the subject students preferred based on 3 classification. So you cannot say that this, that non-English speakers selected this particular preference. They did have a particular preference there now. So you cannot make a direct correlation. So I cannot compare no direct correlation between the subjects they preferred to study. So this is what we can say here. You cannot say that this is directly related to this thing or this thing is directly related to this thing. So that's what we have said in the overview. So you have to say this as a separate thing. So the first separate point is about the female proportion, and it is here. As per the table, out of the total enrollments to humanities, science, and education, you can say humanities, science, and education, majority were females. Yeah, this as majority out of the 100 percentage enrollment, you can say more than half of the students in humanities, education, and science, they were females. Enrollments to humanities stood first with 72 percentage, yes, followed by education with 68 percentage. The rates of enrollment to science and physics were 52 and 56 respectively. Okay. The less preferred subjects were information technology and engineering. So all these things are compared separately. So the grouping number one, which is the most preferred, which is the second preferred, 3 and 4, that's science. Least preferred, that is information technology and engineering. We have grouped it in an easy way. We could not compare this thing to this thing because of some difficulties. So what we have done is that we have covered this data separate, and right now we do have the rest two categories. So it is also clear from the table that both the non-native English speakers, this is the group, and the overseas students, this is the group, of the university preferred science and technology more than humanities and education. You can see that. You can see this particular group and this particular group. They prefer, see, so this group, first language, not English, born outside Australia, they preferred science, physics, information technology, and engineering. It comes under the category science and technology than humanities and education. So that's what we have said in the first line of this particular sentence. When around 38 to 42 percentage of the former group is science and technology, of former group means non-native English speakers. Yeah, so I think the former group here refers to non-native English speakers. 38 to 42 percentage of the former group opted for either science or technology. So you can see 38 to 49 percentage. It's not 42 percentage. You have a correction here. 49 percentage. Yes. 38 to 49 percentage opted opted to study science and technology. The range this range was between 31 and 56 in case of the foreign students. 31, you can say the lowest range, and this highest range is 56. So the rate of students who opted for science and technology in case of the overseas students or foreign students, it was 31 to 56%. So we covered these two data. Less than a quarter of the overseas students opted humanities and education. Less than a quarter of the overseas students opted humanities and education. Less than a quarter of overseas students opted humanities and education. Now I have to connect these two things. When less than a quarter of overseas students opted humanities and education, the rate of non-native English speakers who opted the same had not crossed 1/6 of the total enrollment. So the maximum enrollments here, you can see it's 16. So they had not crossed 1/6 of the total enrollment. So we have come to the conclusion of this particular uh, explanation. So we have said uh, what is shown in the table. The table shows this thing. What the picture is a table, it shows this thing. You can say it's very difficult to find an overview, a clear-cut overview here. it's um it's very difficult to explain it. So what we have done is that there is no direct correlation. So the way these three category students select the particular subjects, we cannot we cannot understand, is there a pattern? No, I don't understand any specific patterns that they have taken. So this is what we have said. And we have said the group, females group, in the first particular paragraph, and the other two in the second particular paragraph. This is the grouping, and that's what we have done here. Thank you. I hope you must have understood this thing.